guys, this is the Seattle Ring Hunter, and I'm coming to you live from Seattle, Washington, actually down here in my hometown of Auburn. It was November 21st, just a few days after the news broke on a new piece of exciting gear. It is the XP Deus II. You guys know what I'm talking about. Those out there that know about this machine. We here in the US have been waiting, anxiously waiting and waiting. Like I said, I was about November 21st. I went down to my local detector shop, which is Blackjack's Metal Detection, part of Renton Coin and Gold over there in Renton, obviously, Renton, Washington. Go in there and see Chris Holden. He's the manager of the shop there. Awesome. We've known him for a number of years. Great guy. Just want to throw a little shout out to those guys. And I went in there and put down a deposit. That was November 21st, and I was first in line at his shop. And today we're looking at February 3rd. Just came in today, February 3rd. So that's how long it took. I am one of his first customers to receive that. The rest of the customers that are in line, we're just gonna have to wait a little bit longer. He only received one unit in today. I've actually got the XP Deus II here, the 11-inch coil in this box. I'm gonna go ahead and just do a simple unboxing. I probably won't get into a whole lot of details, maybe a little bit, but I just wanna let you know that this machine here has made it. Let's go ahead. Yep, this is not just a fake cardboard box as you're gonna see here in a moment. The machine is actually here, and I am so excited. So let's go ahead and do a little bit of opening on this and kind of put this on the table, kind of get it spread out a little bit, just so we can see. You guys have been following some of the reviews online already, kind of know a bit about this and how awesome this is. And I have to say though, I'm really excited about the build quality on this. Very durable and rugged, nice in the hand, good grip there. I just previously in transit, when I picked it up from the shop, had looked at this a little bit, but this is pretty much fresh as it comes right out of the box. Go carefully here. The remote control unit is a piece of kit that you have to hold in your hand to appreciate the engineering on the actual housing of this thing. The buttons are rubberized, over molded, but still seem pretty easy to push on. And one of the things you have to remember, guys, is this is built as a dive detector as well. So these buttons, they don't want them to be too soft and smushy, or else once you start going into depth, those buttons could get depressed. And that's one of the things they did in the dive profile, I believe, is they lock out the buttons. So there's a button sequence, so if you were to get down there in some of the deeper depths, that the buttons don't start pushing and changing modes while you're doing a search. So they've thought about everything on this thing. I mean, this guy here has a lot of customization and a lot of capability for the user to select what they need for their operating environment, for the needs of their ground, their soil, their salt, their beach. You've heard it all from a couple of the other great guys on the internet, and a lot of our friends over on the other side of the pond from the other countries that already had this in their hands for a while. This is new and exciting because it's the first time I've ever actually had an XP Deus product in my hands, so I'm kind of a newbie on that part, but I'm pretty sure we're going to do all we can to catch up and get up to speed and get this thing in full operation and get some great recoveries with it. So here we go. We've got that. And just another thing to point out, I noticed, it looks like when we power it up here, I'll just give you a quick look here. It came shipped with version 0.04. A little bit later tonight, when I get back to the house, we'll dig out our PC and we'll get an update. You can only update it through an actual Microsoft PC. I got Mac products, but I do have a PC available, so I will be able to get that updated, so I'm not wasting time with other programs trying to learn this thing and have a couple changes. It's just going to fire it up here in a minute and do a couple of things with it and see how it feels, then we'll go home and get that updated. Let's move on a little bit with what's actually in the kit here. I'm gonna go ahead and, I don't know, the lighting's not the greatest. It's a little bit overcast out here today. Got a little cardboard there, but anyway, just to put a little bit of, yep, there it is. Nice in the hand, rubber over molded, durable. The shaft there is looking good. We've got our, this actually, some people have been referring to this as, for underwater use, as a antenna well, actually it's actually referred to as a waveguide. It doesn't make any metal connection in it. It's actually taking the RF signal and it's going through this wire. So it's basically referred to as a waveguide, if you want to use the correct terminology for RF. I have a little bit of a background in that, so, and I'm kind of OCD on a lot of this stuff, so please forgive me. Call it an antenna, a wire, a cable, whatever the heck you want to call it. It is amazing that they provided this in the pack. You don't have to buy it separately. So now you can take your wireless coil, which is underneath this part of the box, and it will have connectivity underwater to the remote control, or in the bone conducting headphones actually screw into the back of this unit. The bone conducting headphones have not made it yet, so I don't have that to show off. Here we go. Let's go ahead and take a look inside of here. Something I'm still not sure how I'm gonna like or not, but this is the behind the head wraparound. Let's see, WS6 that comes with the kit, so we'll have to see how that goes. I'll probably wind up doing it over the head and taking the puck off of this, sliding the puck off of this after I figure this all out, learn how to do that. But probably some mixed reviews on this as far as comfort. I do wear reading glasses, as you saw, so I'm not sure if that's going to be my first go-to, but it is nice and compact, and so that's kind of nice. But then in the end, a lot of guys will take this, as you guys already know that have been following this machine, and you're probably going to hear a lot more with the headphones on, a lot more of the nuances in the audio signals. Since this is such an audio machine, you can dial it in for the type of audio that you want, that you prefer, and get the most out of for whatever operating conditions and applications you're using the machine for, because there's a lot of different applications. Let's face it, this is going to be my go-to machine for water, for sand, beach, park, residential, industrial, side of roadways, side of freeways, a lot of noise. So the headphones are absolutely an absolute must. The bone conduction will probably, for myself, I believe that will probably be most likely just for water use. I'll have to see. I've heard that they can get pretty loud, but I think I'll probably have an over the head earmuff situation for normal day use. We'll see how that goes. The other thing too is that you can put this on a pocket or clip it in your pocket, and you can run the speaker off the back of this, and it's loud enough that you can listen to it that way. But I think you're going to get probably a lot more of the nuance out of the tones from what I've heard if you have actually a pair of headphones around your ears. Blocking out some of the ambient noise would probably give you a better signal. So with this being such an audio type machine, you don't necessarily have to look at this. You can put this in the pocket even and keep it out if you want to keep the shaft here like a totally as lightweight as possible, because it clips on right here under this clip here, as you've seen. So you can have that clipped on there, which we'll do in just a few moments here. Just kind of rambling a little bit. Hang in there with me. A little bit excited. I've been waiting a while for this machine, but we got the manual. Probably parts of that manual are probably already outdated a little bit when they do their program changes on the software side and the updates, but that's okay. PDFs will probably get updated as quickly as possible, so you can always download the PDF from XP Deus website. And there it is, the wireless FMF fast multi-frequency, 4 kilohertz to 45 kilohertz. Yeah, reading this from a distance here. This 11-inch coil, and as they say, it's blinking. LED's blinking. Where was it blinking? I saw it. Yeah, right there. They say that's normal. Not to be concerned about that. Light blinking, that's the normal state that it should be doing, what it should be doing. It's got a little bit of a charge in it, which is nice. And let's kind of showcase some of this here just a little bit. A little bit of more light here. The other thing I wanted to point out with, which is a lot of, some of the guys have probably pointed out, since I am a diver and do a lot of water detecting, this is something I want to make sure that new users, I'm sure a lot of people, since they've been sitting around waiting for this machine, have done a lot of research already online. But the bottom that's right here in the bag is the red one. There's a little, if you can look down here and see this little plug with 2 O-rings, and there's a flat for like a flat screwdriver, that's red. And the one at the bottom, this gray one, actually has a hole down the middle of it. If you guys can see that, this one with the hole in it is for every for non-water use. Just remember, before you get in the water with this machine, red or dead. If you can remember that phrase that I came up with the other day, thinking about how I was going to do a mental mind jog just to remind myself, the red plug needs to be put in here before you get in the water. You're going to have a unit that's going to be flooded potentially. I think there maybe should be this hole small enough. It's probably got a little membrane, so it's not going to flood out super quick, I wouldn't think. But it's a pressure release. So when you're operating this in the normal dry environment, the pressure can be equalized easily, and you're not going to get condensation building up on the inside on the LCD screen, causing user problems and complaints that, hey, this thing's got condensation inside of it, I can't see the screen, I can't wipe it clean. So that's probably the reason, because it has to be 100% waterproof to go to depth. So then you have to change out the plug. So if you do a little bit of thought process on that on the front end, I spent a few minutes here just kind of mentioning it, just kind of highlighting that as a diver. I'd hate for somebody to take this diving and then come back later and go, oh crap, got a little bit of water or moisture in there. They may have done some other things on the inside of the case that might prevent that water. If water were to get past this plug, it may not just roach out the electronics super quickly. That's how I'd probably just try to design the chamber in there, so it would slow down the flow of water, because obviously they don't want warranty issues because the guy forgot to change the plug out. Just be careful. You don't want to go down that road if you don't need to. Remember, before you get in the water, red or dead. Not necessarily saying this is going to die and get full of water if you leave the gray plug in there and go for it. Just saying, just a good reminder though. And if you operate it with the red plug in the dry, it's not going to hurt the device, if you forgot to take it out or you just need to leave it in for that day because you just got out of the water and you're doing some searching on the beach or whatever. I mean, it's, you change it out when you're in the dry later. I think I beat that one to death like a dead horse. But anyway, it is something to point out. It's such a small thing, easy to forget. So I'm going to come up with a little type of case to carry this small little plug in that'll clip on, zip up, or some type of little hard case or something that I can screw up, a little container. The little pill bottles that you can get at the quick stop if people put pills in, or other people put their smokes in it, their weed or whatever. You know what I'm talking about. Little tiny keychain container. Put that in there. Nitroglycerin pill container or whatever, and then attach it to some of the gear or something so it's not easily lost, that it's attached and it fixed. I'm a lost item recovery specialist. That thing is plastic. If I lose it or drop it, my eyes aren't that great. If my glasses are in the car, hey, it's something you got to be concerned about. You could, if you drop the thing or you misplace it, you're not going to go taking this machine diving in the water. So at some point I may actually pick up a spare one of those. I'll reach out and pay them or ask them to send me an extra one or whatever. Maybe that may not be a bad idea as a fail safe, or in case that thing does get lost or misplaced. I don't want to not have it and trying to be going out wanting to dive with this thing and not be able to take the machine. So it's a critical piece. That's why I spent a little bit of energy and effort here to make a big deal about it. For those of you that are into metal detection, you're probably pretty detail oriented yourselves, so you know what I'm talking about. Just remember that. Anyway, not a problem. I don't think it's going to be a problem. The other thing that people have talked about too, like I said on the waveguide, there are plastic clips, but there's no metal contacts. So right here, I believe it's on the left side, if I'm not mistaken. I'll have to look in the, I think it's on the left side here that it clips on in this there. Oh, that's for the charging. One of these sides that clips on, and we'll figure that out, but there's no contacts for it. They do give you a rubber, or they give you a O-ring. It's not a rubber band, it's actually an O-ring, and you can stretch the O-ring around and you can use that to secure it. And then on the top, this bigger clip here goes right on the top here. Or I'm sorry, I was mistaken. The bigger clip goes on the coil, and the narrow one goes over the top here because there's an antenna underneath the plastic. But yeah, that is your waveguide for water use. So I think I'm going to keep that over here in the box for right now. I don't need to get into that too much. But let me go ahead and get my hands free so I can work here a little bit. Let's see what we got. They did give us a US charge plug. You do not have to have 4 cables plugged into the 3, I should say. You don't have to have all 3 of the cables. I think it's like an octopus cable. You get 1 USB and the 3, so you can charge all 3 devices. Anyone that wants to complain about having to charge all 3 devices, this, that, and the other, it's like, get over it. I think he probably will get past that pretty quickly and find it's not as big of a deal as some people might think initially. The reality is you got one USB plug here. You got a USB block, and a lot of us, you know, you got a lot of gear or whatever. You have multi-port, like Anchor chargers and stuff, you know, 8-port USB charge block, whatever. But the reality is you can keep this small guy. Actually, if you even have a battery, lithium-ion battery charge pack, plug this in, and you can top this guy off a little bit if you needed to. But what I was referring to is a multi-arm, multi-cable here, octopus cable. So you got all three there, and the 3 is for your coil, for your remote control, and for your headphones. So that's all the 3 devices that have, each one of these devices has a battery inside of it, obviously. And there's the round connector for the back here, and then you got the USB for over here, and there's a clip that you'd have to get out of the, we have to get out of the bag here for the charge clip, and that's pretty straightforward and obvious how that works. And then that actually, so the keying on this, to look real careful for new users, you're going to figure this out. This is narrow, this is wide. Look here, it's about a pinky's width, and this one here is about a thumb width. So that's your key for, so you get the polarity correct on the 2 battery contacts. Actually has a real good clip on there. Seems to fit pretty good. XP, I haven't heard anybody talk about this. You're going to be swinging this coil in salt water, lake water, this, that, and everything else. I've actually, the suggestion I would make that I might probably do because of that, and that being a contact point, is just put a little dab of dielectric grease over those electrodes there, or those contact points. It's gonna, just a little tiny smear of a dielectric grease. It's not gonna hurt it, and I think that might save you a little bit. And then when you go to connect, it might give you a better opportunity. This feels pretty solid. I know that there was some concerns with the Deus I and the charge clip and all this and that. Maybe they overcame that at some point, which such a progressive company, they probably did overcome that. But this feels feels real solid. I don't see that there's going to be much trouble there. We used my buddy used the dielectric grease on as a recommendation on the back of his Mine Lab Equinox. The people have complained about that a little bit. I personally will not take my Equinox into the water because I was afraid of the flooding situation, so I always used Excalibur in the water for anything in the water. So this is going to be a major, huge upgrade from the Excalibur. Now when I got the gold chains, some rings that might have split open, or open hooped earrings, or some of the smalls, I'm going to have the best piece of equipment in the water now for these recoveries and searches that I'm doing. So that's really exciting. Let me go ahead and pull this off here, and we'll get this set up here and fire it up. They also gave us this nice little quick disconnect. So you got 2 pieces there. So when you decide to go ahead and pop this piece off, which is just a cover, and you want to put the remote control on there, if you were to, oh, see how that popped off? I had to give it a little bit of a nudge, but you'd hate for that to pop off and hit the ground or get lost or whatever. So on the bottom here, right there, there's a spot to put one of the this little keeper on there, and you can put the other one or wrap it around here, and then that secures it from hitting the ground or getting lost, especially if you're in the water diving and it comes off. If you because in the dive configuration, I fully anticipate that this is going to be on there. I'm going to need that on there because I'm going to have the bone conduction headphones with the cable coming off the back here going up to my head. And if it was to get set down or popped off and silty environment, and you're sitting there trying to find the damn remote control, if it falls in the silt, that would be horrible, especially in the lakes that I dive. So that little clip there is absolutely good piece of assurance that you're not going to lose it there. Then we got our shaft here that kind of just goes in here. Real nice. Slides nice and smooth. And that kind of goes compact like that. And we can put the coil on here in just a minute. For installing the coil, I might just do this. Look at that. It's got like a D shape to it. Obviously here as well, so keep that in mind. Little attention to detail when you go to put the coil on. Don't flip it upside down, because then you just have to take it off, put it back around. So more of the flat part at the bottom and humps over, just match it up with that. And we've got another charge cable or a USB cord here for charging of something. Arm strap here. And with all that, really excited. I'm gonna go ahead and put that together here off camera, most likely. Not to bore you with that. We actually had an opportunity. My dealer had the XP. This actually was designed and developed for the XP Deus I, but it's custom cut foam hard case. It is not the smallest case. That's it's a bit of gear there, but if you need to protect it, if you're in transit or travel, this is absolutely probably one of the best ways to be totally assured that you're not going to crush it. You could even take this if you're going to drop it into a large suitcase for like air travel, or put some locks on it or whatever, TSA locks, and go with it that way. I don't think you get away with taking that on as a carry-on, but it could be one of your other bags if you absolutely needed to. Or the other thing too is if you were going on a special project or trip somewhere and you just absolutely needed or wanted to ship, you could take that case and put it inside of a cardboard box and ship it, and still have the assurance that nothing's going to come on the other end all broken and busted up. So something to consider. Here's the size of the case. It is not it is what it needs to be for that level of protection. Let's just leave it at that. You're not going to get much of a smaller case and still have that a level of protection. It's not a Pelican case by any means, but it is durable. The corners are solid, so I will say that they feel pretty solid, so they're not going to crush or buckle. These guys aren't going to have, they're not going to deliver you some cheesy case that's just not there. There's a little bit of pressure there, but you got that foam on the inside, but the corners are definitely solid. I'm putting a lot of weight on that, and that doesn't give or buckle at all, so I'm impressed. I think that'll be nice. And if you need a place to stash all this when you're not using it with a lot of other gear in your car, your rig, your garage, that's a good idea. Thing's going to be in use most of the time, so probably be constructed and left out in the back of my rig or whatever, so we'll see how that goes. Alrighty, this is great. Let me go ahead and get this put together real quick. Right there, guys, it's all packed in there. Everything's custom fit. It's really nice and secure. Comes out real super easy. There's your coil. Boop, boop, boop. Flips around, fits in there. You can get probably 2 coils in there. Got a remote control in this corner that you could stick in either side there. You could stash it there or over here. Kind of fits in there. The lid closes fine, and it's not really hurting that too much. Egg crate. You can also put your remote control in here, I guess, if you wanted to. I think this cutout over here is more appropriate for it. Holds it real nice. Kind of grips it real good there. It's not moving anywhere. It's not going to fall out. Slide the slides there. Yep. Real nice setup. We're at the park. We got a little tot lot over here I like to hit once in a while. We got some guys out here. There's a skate park in the back. Find a lot of chump change over there. falling out of their pockets when they're doing their jumps and stuff. And the kids, they love to throw their, obviously, the aluminum pull tabs. They love throwing those things off all over the place out here. Everyone knows about that. So with that, cheers to Seattle Ring Hunter.
If you've lost your ring or special item of value, please get in touch with me at the SeattleRingHunter.com as soon as possible so I can arrange to do a search for you.